Work with me for just a moment. Imagine the scenario. Inside your organization, there's a whisper of something new. Everyone's been gathered, much like this morning in the town hall meeting. And as they start to walk in and take their seats, the CEO comes onto the stage to launch the new digital strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, I've invited you here today for our digital strategy. It is a strategy that is going to be good for each and every one of you, good for our customers, and good for all of our stakeholders. But I alone can't make it happen. I need each and every one of you to come together, not just as a team, not just as a department, but as a family. Because only as a family can we make our digital strategy come alive. And the CEO turns to the audience and asks, "Are you with me?" And everyone's cheering. And as the CEO walks off stage, two guys at the back of the room go, "What was all that about?" "I don't know, but there's some free lunch outside. Let's go and get something to eat." On any given day, somewhere in the world, today in Lagos, there's a CEO launching the new digital strategy. But after all the fanfare, the excitement, and here's your first question from me this morning. After all the fanfare and excitement, what percentage of digital strategies are successfully implemented? Well, the challenge we have is that only 1 in 3 are succeeding. So our first Madam CEO, congratulations, and the work that Zenith Bank, and Jim for the founder, the work that Zenith Bank is doing is phenomenal because they're succeeding where most other, not just banks, but other companies are failing. For 20 years, we were doing great in implementation, but in the last 4 or 5 years, it's got tougher in a digital world. And for the first time in 20 years, we're seeing that it's not working. McKinsey even tell us that digital technology is destroying value. Now, what? Everybody hypes up how wonderful chatbots and new opportunities. And here's McKinsey saying it doesn't work. What are they telling us? Well, if we're failing 2/3 of the time, your investment is not showing the return. You're not seeing your CapEx return. So we need to do things a little bit differently. Okay? Now, this is my first opportunity, so thank you for the invitation to present in Lagos. So, going to do a quick quiz with you, just to see where you are on your digital transformation. The questions start relatively easy and then get harder. Okay? So, question 1. And they're either fact or myth. You decide. A digital ambition is a necessity for an organization to succeed. Fact or myth? Okay, we're good. That was fast. Okay. So when we study, something I do, you study successful companies, we've seen a digital ambition is critical. Number 2, Facebook can predict if a relationship of 2 people on Facebook is going to last. Oh, you're wrong. It's a fact. I was just with Facebook about 4 weeks ago now, and they reconfirmed with up to 87% accuracy, they can tell you if your relationship's going to last. Number 3, business leaders are accountable for technology targets. Fact or myth? A little bit slower on that one. It's a fact. This is a very powerful best practice to eliminate the bottleneck of technology. Number 4 of 7, younger employees, or students over here, younger employees are more susceptible to adopting digital. Fact or myth? We were doing so good up to then. This is one of the biggest mistakes we see of companies. In fact, the older you are, the more valuable you are, because in digital, we go from doing everyday work to adding value. And as we grow older, the brain, we know from neuroscience, develops, and we're better at strategy and critical thinking. Number 5 gets a bit tougher. From digital transformation, cost savings are greater than revenue generated. Well, that got them thinking. Fact or myth? Split on that one. Yes, initially you'll save money, you put in the efficiencies. But we know from studying over 10 years of digital transformation, your top line grows faster. So in banking, for example, digital customers do 16 times more self-led transactions than traditional customers. Number 6, penultimate question. The older the organization, the less profitable per employee generated. I'm getting very strong myth, but it's a fact. The older the company, the more legacy systems, leadership, and structure we need to overcome. And last question, the CEO leads the digital transformation. Just a bit of fun. Okay. So I've got about 20 minutes left with you, and my goal this morning is to shake up. If we know 2/3 of digital transformations are failing, we've got to do something a bit different. Is that fair? Okay? So sometimes it's not about massive changes. It's just about being a little bit smarter than the competition. So this is a cyclist in Italy who's just a little bit more innovative than their competition. And he goes from last to first place. Okay. Or I hate 10-pin bowling, so I love this. Or one more. Sometimes it's about confusing the competition and doing things different. All right. So I'd like to thank you, Zenith Bank, for the kind invitation to be here. Okay. Now they've already introduced me, so I'm going to skip my intro. Okay. What does digital transformation mean to you? Have a look at the 9 pictures on the screen. Which one resonates the most with you? Now, I'm going to keep this a little shorter so we stay on time for the conference. What we see is each picture, everyone has a different perspective. Some see it as the new horizon. Some see it as a brick wall in front. Some are a myth, and they're confused in the maze. So our challenge, today's conference, today's festival, is to give you that information to guide you through it. Okay? And to give you the opportunity to leapfrog your competition. What's exciting about digital transformation is that it has the potential and ability to change, not just change, but revolutionize the way you work today. Now what we're seeing, not just in Africa, and first time here, but I've worked with banks in Ethiopia, in South Africa, in Kenya, is that some companies say, it's okay, we're just going to follow. And there's nothing wrong with that. They'll just follow and see what else is happening in the market. Other companies say, oh no, we got to keep pace with the competition. And there's a few who say we want to lead. Now, what percentage of companies today lead? It's about 5%. And 65% follow, leaving the rest to match. And the decision that a company has to make is, what is its strategy focus? Do you follow, match, or lead? Okay, now one bank that leads in where I come from, Singapore, is DBS Bank. And they made the decision 10 years ago to make banking joyful. Now, you know, we don't use the word joyful in banking very often. But they said technology can take the pain out of doing banking. And they went from being a very small Singapore bank to winning the world's best bank 5 years in a row, by same way as Zenith Bank's doing, leveraging technology. And it's an amazing success. But I got a few more things I'd like to share with you this morning. The first one is that to make that transformation, to be a leader, you've got to shift your thinking. I call it the movement of the mind. So I got another quiz for you. You ready? Here we go. On the left is traditional. You have to fill in the blanks on the right. In a traditional world, we focus on controlling in the company. But in a digital world, what do we focus on? Fill in the blank. It's all about empowerment. It's the people in the company, the employees, doing the hackathons that we just saw the banks doing. It's about doing design thinking, data translation, customer journey mapping, and we got to empower them to move forward. In the traditional, it's about pipelines, single products or service. In a digital world, it's all about platforms, multiple experiences. In a traditional world, it's planning. What is it in a digital world? All about experimentation. In a traditional world, it's knowing all the answers. You get promoted for knowing the answers. But in a digital world, leaders get promoted for, well done, asking the right questions. In a traditional world, it's a product-centric world. But in digital, what are we much better at doing? Customer centricity. Well done. Today we've moved. It's no longer focusing on shareholders, but stakeholders. You've got it. And last one, you're on a roll. You can no longer succeed when your company's built in silos. We need to move from silos to okay, that one not so quick, okay? Agility. So today we're very much focused, the leading companies, the top 5%, have adopted by using agile methodology. So just a quick, why digital transformation fails in the time I have with you. Just to give you a warning, especially to our wonderful students. These are the lessons you have to avoid. Okay? The first reason it fails, of the three, in no order, is senior leaders' mindset. Many leaders, of course I'm not talking Zenith Bank, I'm sorry. Okay? In other organizations, the leaders go, look, I've been in this company 20 years. Who are you to tell me to work different? So that's become our biggest obstacle. The second biggest challenge is changing the culture. Culture lags behind digital transformation. And the third one is it's not just about tweaking your front of your business, your website. It's not just about changing your app or putting in a chat bot. It's about the whole company moving, because everyone has to be aligned on the journey. Okay, so if nothing else from my time with you this morning, here's my singular key message for you. You ready for this? Here we go. It's not about having a digital strategy. What's wrong with a digital strategy? It's about having a strategy in a digital world. Now, this is a very key message, important message I want to share. Many companies are looking at what technology can do, but they have to look at the broader picture. Why? Putting it differently, the winds of change blow harder and faster externally than they do internally. In other words, outside of Nigeria and Africa, things are changing much faster around us than inside our company. And we have to change the way we're working to keep pace. So it's about having a strategy with a broader lens. So you're looking at what's happening. Unfortunately, the wars in Europe and the Middle East, the geopolitics that are going on, elections that are changing the scenes, inflation, oil prices are all impacting how we work today, never mind the new technologies. I have the pleasure, I wrote the book called The World's Best Bank, which is based on DBS, and I'm being a friend of Piyush Gupta, the CEO, for 20 years, who's also being replaced by a lady CEO in a few months. So you've started a trend, okay? And Piyush puts it this way: companies need to step back and fundamentally reconceive how they create value. They need to reimagine their place in the world, rethink how they create value through ecosystems, and transform their organization to enable new models of value creation. Now, one more key message that I hope you'll take away from my presentation today. The first one is, it's not about having a digital strategy, but you were there, okay? The second one is, what's at the heart of digital transformation? Always. What's always at the heart of digital transformation? Wow, it's gone very quiet. What do you think? At the heart of digital transformation is always our customer. Now, I have to celebrate Zenith Bank for what you're doing today to give so much back to the community. Can we give them? The bank has recognized that it's you that makes a difference. They're there to serve you, to use the technology, not efficiency or improve, but to create a better experience for you, okay? And they're aligned some of the great icons around the world, like Microsoft, Satya Nadella, who says, customer obsession is an everyday practice that starts with me. Jeff Bezos from Amazon, the most important thing is to focus obsessively on your customer. Our goal is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, full stop. Now, I'm not sure if we have volume, so I'll just, do we have volume? No, we don't.
Your own introduction, you were sharing.
Okay, so I'd like to also give you the opportunity to hear from another iconic leader based in Asia. And this gentleman's name is Piyush Gupta. He's the CEO of DBS Bank. And this is just a couple of minute clip. It's Piyush sharing about why it's so important to focus on your customer.
You mentioned in your own introduction, you were sharing how customer journey mapping and the job to be done really helped anchor for the customer and changing the mindset. So, and you shared also, and I don't think you mentioned it, so you talked about Gandalf, but you also used the phrase, what would Jeff do, thinking of Jeff from Amazon, to help your own bankers think more like techies. as part of that, customer journey mapping, you were it became an early part of the transformation. As you look today, how you're using it in the bank, because, identifying the pain points, the job to be done, the mapping, it's become almost the default way of solving customer issues. Can you share how you're using it today?
Yeah, actually, Robin, I will, before I go into that, let me just make one observation. You'd asked this thing about, how do you change people and culture? And I should have mentioned this. I think what was a really important part of changing the internal culture of the bank was this relentless focus on what is right for the customer.
Yeah.
It established a very simple and easy rubric for our people to follow. If it makes sense for the customer, you're empowered to do it. And that liberates people. It liberates people to do the right thing. So for me, this whole customer journey, the customer mapping, the customer obsession really paid off very richly in the culture transformation we got in the mindsets of our people.
What Peter's just sharing is that their focus for every employee is empowered to make banking joyful. And the challenge for them was to inculcate that across the bank, and they successfully did it within 4 years. Now, I've just got a couple of minutes left, so I've got one more story to share, but before I do that, you're going to hear many different presentations today, so I want to use 2 minutes of my last 4 minutes. Can you please turn to your part and somebody next to you, very quickly, you've only got 2 minutes, rub your hands together, give them a high 10, say good morning to a partner. What is the key takeaway for you? 2 minutes with your partner, go. Oh. 2 minutes. Okay, now here we go. Say thank you to your partner. I have 2 minutes left, and I've got one farewell story to share with you. I call this story The Manager from Hell. A manager's walking across the office floor towards the photocopier when he suddenly has a heart attack, and he drops dead on the spot. Everyone gathers round to see what happened. I'm going to go, he wasn't a bad manager. He wasn't a good manager. He was just a manager. Meanwhile, his soul drifts up to heaven. And in front of the gates of heaven is a beautiful angel. And the angel says, before I can let you into heaven, I want you to have a look at hell. Because heaven is for eternity. And the leader's, well, he's just grateful he's made it to heaven. He goes, whatever. And he follows the angel's instructions. He walks back. He walks into the lift. The lift door's shut. The lift goes down, 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 all the way to the depths of hell. And the lift door's open. And suddenly in front of him is all his wildest dreams. Everything he's ever wanted. Just about to step out into everything he's wanted. And the lift door's shut. And it goes back up, 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 up to heaven. And as he walks towards now the open gates of heaven, the angel says, are you ready to enter heaven for eternity? He's thinking, I think I'm going to go to hell. And before the angel can stop him, he runs back into the lift. He presses H, the lift door shut. The lift goes back down, 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 down. And the lift door is open. And suddenly there's ferocious flames all around him, sulfur dropping from the ceiling. 2 hands reach in and grab his arms. They drag him across the flaming floor and throw him down on his knees in front of a bottomless pit. And he looks up and goes, last time I was here, it was all my wildest dreams. And this booming voice echoes, last time you were here, you were a prospect. Now you are our customer. journey today is to make sure we're all in heaven. Have a wonderful experience. Thank you for your opportunity.